crime. It involves dishonestly obtaining a benefit or causing a loss by deception or other means. Benefits can be tangible, such as money or materials, or intangible, like power, status, or information. DT Global and ASIPS Plus have zero tolerance to fraud. Together, let's understand how to identify and prevent fraud to protect our resources and ensure integrity in everything we do. Fraud happens when someone deceives others to gain an unfair advantage or causes a loss. For example, someone claiming an amount for travel that is higher than the actual costs. Another example is when a procurement officer offered a bribe to award a supplier a contract. Accepting the bribe is fraud because it distorts the procurement process and misuses the organization's resources. To understand why fraud happens, we refer to the fraud triangle, which consists of three key factors: motivation, opportunity, and the absence of oversight. Motivation for fraud can stem from many sources, such as social pressures, poverty, or greed. These pressures may lead someone to consider dishonest actions. Opportunity arises when systems or controls are weak, creating chances for fraud to go undetected. For example, leaving valuable resources unsecured can lead to fraudulent activities. The absence of oversight happens when oversight is weak or non-existent, allowing fraudulent actions to go unnoticed. For instance, sharing passwords or skipping verification processes can enable fraud. The greatest challenge in preventing fraud lies in designing systems that allow ASIPS Plus personnel and subcontractors to work efficiently while minimizing opportunities for fraud. We saw in the fraud triangle that fraud can be driven by pressure from others. For example, using ASIPS Plus resources intended for community projects for personal use is fraud because it diverts resources away from the community and causes a loss to the organization. Misrepresenting qualifications or experience on a grant application is another form of fraud. It's dishonest and undermines the integrity of the application process, often causing losses in time and resources. Fraud depletes resources, limits the impact of our programs, and damages ASIPS Plus reputation. This leads to a loss of trust and faith in our ability to manage resources properly. Fraud can be identified in various ways: through personal observations, tips from colleagues, or routine audits. Being vigilant helps protect resources. If you identify or suspect fraud, handle the situation with care. Do not confront the individual, attempt to investigate on your own, or share suspicions publicly, as these actions could compromise the investigation. Ignoring the situation is not an option. It allows the problem to persist and may lead to further harm. Instead, document your concerns and let us know promptly. Staff, partners, and grantees can share their concerns with the ASIPS Plus Deputy Facility Director, their line manager, or anonymously through the DT Global Ethics Hotline. You can contact the DT Global Ethics Hotline via. After you've shared your concerns, avoid gathering additional evidence, confronting those involved, or discussing the case with others, as this could undermine the assessment and confidentiality. Trust the investigation process. It ensures fairness, transparency, and the protection of our resources. Fraud harms everyone. By staying alert and making the right choices, We protect our resources, our programs, and the trust of our communities and donors.